We could scream, yell, shout, like BC does. Entertain you guys, of course. That's always one of the main goals on the channel. Entertain you guys, man. Amp it up. Yell, scream, shout from the mountaintop. Unfortunately, not about how good these shows usually are, how bad they are. We could yell, we could rant, we could rave. Yes, we could. But I think if you guys don't mind, man, we're going to have a real discussion about this Monday Night Raw. Just real talk. Just grab a coffee, a bevy of choice, sit back, max, relax while BC in the unit drops them facts. Real talk. A question. Roman Reigns and what else? As it pertains to last night's Raw. Last night's Raw, take this one show, because that's what this review is, 7/21/25. Now, 11 days away from SummerSlam. So you think of last night's show. Roman and what else? Reigns and what else? Raw. And I'll address that thumbnail, by the way. It does say live. This was going to be a live stream. Unfortunately, some plans got switched up, and I have to record this a little bit sooner than I originally had planned. It was supposed to be live, and that was for channel members only. All of my channel members. So we'll have to do that in the near future. Channel members, I gotcha. I appreciate the support. Channel subscribers, thank you so much. That would have went up to all of my channel subscribers afterwards anyway. So always make sure you're subscribed. Channel membership, that's optional. I appreciate that. Never needed. Always appreciated. Subscription, you should already be. You'll be the first to be notified when we go live. But I just want to address that thumbnail real quick because you see Raw, Roman, and what else? That's Raw last night. And I ask that question because I know the community all too well. I'm a part of it for decades now. And I know how a lot of today's younger pro wrestling fans are. That was a good show, they're going to try to tell you, right? They're going to go on social in 140 characters. It was a great show. Did you see the show last night? Wow, Raw was banging out. Man, SummerSlam's heating up. Just one issue with that. There's no build to anything last night. Roman aside, because again, Roman and what else? That's the question. Roman was the overrun. I call that the overrun. At 10 p.m. Eastern time, you get that final either 20 to 40 minutes, whichever it is. That's the overrun. The bulk of Raw is that 2 hours, because the show is usually about 2.5 hours. So Roman got the overrun. We'll talk about that in this review. We'll go over every segment, every match. But if you take Roman aside and you look at last night, and if somebody ever tried to tell you this was a good show, because you ain't going to get that here, I assure you. It's not going to happen. I would never bullshit my audience. More so, I couldn't bullshit myself and try to sell you that this was good. But if you needed evidence of that, segment by segment, we'll go over the full review. That's coming up. But if you don't mind, in this cold open teaser, because I know a lot of you don't watch the show, you just listen to BC, and you say, thank you, BC, for saving me several hours. You're welcome, by the way. Because at this point, it is a chore. At this point, it is a damn job to get through these Monday Night Raws. So let me just go over in this cold open teaser. If you didn't catch the show, and if you did catch the show, you know exactly what order I'm about to go in and how nothing was effective, meaningful, made sense. Nothing should have been on this show. In the first 2 hours, we started off with CM Punk and Gunther. Face-to-face promo. BC, that could be kind of interesting. The match we're all kind of down for at SummerSlam, so maybe they had a pretty good back and forth. Maybe something eventful happened, BC. Hit me with it, BC. What did we get, man? I didn't see it. What did we get between Punk and Gunther? You had some words, and Gunther walked away. Well, BC, it must have been good words, right, man? It must have been, oh man, there must have been like some heavy hitting, low blows in there, right? No. We'll get to the review. But when I say anticlimactic, just keep this in mind. That would do it a disservice. That is an understatement. Anticlimactic is an understatement for this Gunther CM Punk opening of Raw segment. Wait till you hear what they said. Because when it's a whole lot of nothingness. The crowd on their asses when it was all said and done. That's your opening segment. That's supposed to fire Houston up, your live crowd up. All right, BC. Well, maybe the first match got everybody excited, right? The first match of the night, Sheamus and Rusev. Match you've seen several times in the past. Hell, you've seen it over a decade ago. You've seen it a decade ago. Roughly, that's what it feels like. They went their separate ways, came back, and Rusev comes right back into the same feud that he left in. Sheamus. The crowd was on their thumbs for this match and most of this night until Roman Reigns came out. Houston took a bottle of NyQuil on their way in. I'm pretty sure, like if you go to Yankee games, they'll hand out bobbleheads to the first like 5,000 fans that come in. Maybe a t-shirt, maybe a hat, right? They run these specials all the time, right? First 5,000 fans get a hat, a t-shirt, whatever. Well, I'm pretty sure that this arena last night promised everybody that showed up a free bottle of NyQuil. Because they were absolutely asleep until Roman Reigns came out, top of the third hour. And I don't blame them. I can't even blame them. A, the NyQuil was kicking in, I hear you. B, this company was not producing anything worthy of getting out of your seat. If you didn't catch the show last night, if you have some time, if you ever wondered how just real and authentic, how amplified are these reviews from BC, right? How he says full honesty all the time, but how honest? Go back and watch this show. First 2 hours up front, you watch the crowd for every segment. On their thumbs, passed out, in their phones. They couldn't care less, and I don't blame them. See, the quick fix is just blame the crowd. Oh, the show was good, but the crowd sucked. No. The show was bad, so the crowd was silent. That's how this works. It's Sheamus and Rusev. What did you want them to do? Jump out of their seats, giggling like a bunch of schoolgirls? It's Rusev and Sheamus. Oh, I gotta tell all my friends. It's Rusev and Sheamus. It was a decent match, okay. You can watch amazing wrestling at the local bingo hall. You ain't gotta spend your prime time on a Monday night or a Friday night on it. We'll go over it. Again, I'm just going over the cold. I'm just showing you guys. I'm telling you the first 2 hours of this Raw, how uneventful. I'm telling you in this cold open teaser. And then we'll go into more detail when we get to the review in about a couple minutes. But CM Punk and Gunther get in the ring face to face. They do nothing, but they say nothing. Wait till you hear what they said that made the crowd stay on their seats, in their seats, on their thumbs. Sheamus and Rusev did nothing. Then we get a triple threat tag team match. I'm not even joking. Damn, PC, they put the titles on the line again in a multi-man schmaz. No. Even worse. Or is it worse? I don't know. A triple threat tag match for no reason. No reason at all. Wait till you hear what Mike Cole said was on the line. You're not going to believe it if you didn't see the show. Then Becky Lynch. Becky Lynch is out there with Lyra. Another face-to-face promo. We've been seeing this for 4 months now because that's how long they've been feuding. It's not long-term storytelling because there's no story being told. Every single week, they're either in a promo, they're actually wrestling a match, or they're just brawling. It's not a story. That's repetitiveness. Bayley was backstage last night telling Lyra, the aforementioned Lyra. Bayley tells Lyra, hey, we got a tag match for the titles. Lyra's like, we're not even a team. How did you just get a... And Bayley's like, oh, by the way, that's tonight. But Charlotte just said on Friday, which was weird, by the way. Charlotte just went up to Alexa and was like, I got us a tag title match at SummerSlam. And Alexa's like, whoa, we've only tagged a couple of times, and I'm pretty sure we only won one match last month. And Charlotte's like, yeah, well, we got title matches. You know, title matches. Expecto Patronum. You just request it and you got it. It's Home Alone. Credit card, you got it. Charlotte just tells Alexa they didn't even earn shit. They have one victory. It was last month. They've only teamed a couple, 2-3 times. They lost their title match at Evolution. And Charlotte's just like, hey, I got us a So then they did the same thing on Monday. Bayley just goes, hey, Lyra, I got us a tag title match tonight. You're just handing out title matches. There's no order. There's again, wait till you hear what the triple threat tag match, what was on the line for it. Bayley just tells Lyra they have a tag title match. Okay. Nobody's supposed to ask questions. We're just supposed to go, what a great show, man. Everything makes so much sense. SummerSlam air is, I'm vibing, right? With that SummerSlam air. EO and Steph V, the big thing throughout the whole match is we're getting there, because we just saw, what was it, last month? End of April, maybe May, maybe a couple months ago. But we just saw this match. It's face versus face, so you're splitting your audience, and we just saw the match. So the big thing that they kept saying was, we have to get a winner. That's why you guys are seeing this match so soon. You just saw it a couple months ago. It seems odd because it's EO and Steph. I mean, they were admitting this, but they were like, it's because we have to see a winner. We're going to get a winner tonight. They mentioned it 1,000 times, especially during the match. And when it was all said and done, half the women's locker room came out to schmaz it. So nothing happened. Nothing happened for 20 minutes other than, hey, you got some good wrestling? And then Roman came out. And that's whatever. I guess everybody's going to say it's a good show because Roman and Braun Breaker had words. When it was all said and done, you just got to the tag guy because that's what they're going to do. It's clear, right? Bronson gets involved and then Yeaterman comes out. And the show ends with everybody yeeting, I believe. No, that's not a good show to who? Anybody over the age of 12 is not telling you that's a good show. Half-ass would be an understatement. Lazy, uncreative, but these are the words we use for this company for months and even years now. Last Raw, I gave a compliment. Remember, or was it SmackDown? Maybe it was 2. Evolution and Raw. And maybe, SmackDown had a storyline. I was pleased about that. Evolution and Raw. Evolution was good. Raw was watchable last week. I actually gave it a compliment. Didn't say it was good because it was, but it was watchable. It was. I like the flow of it, the format of it, with the ladies taking the first half plus, and then the gauntlet. Let the dudes do what they're doing. And then this week, it's like they totally went right back to business as usual. Nobody behind the scenes cared. Creative suits and ties. Nobody gave a shit, and it's evident. So yeah, it's a great show if you're like 12 and up. It's great. If you're even in the realm of adulthood, there's no way you're going to sell me that when Yeaterman came out, you jumped off your couch and you were like, it's Yeaterman. My dad, come in here. We're going to yeet. You going to yeet? It's Tag Team Jey Uso. Stop it, man. No adult is flipping out. Our Monday Night Raws are ending or beginning. Or we're spending 20 minutes yeeting with Jey Uso, with or without a title, but thankfully he doesn't have a world title. But my point is, this is what you're going to dilute Roman Reigns' return for? Roman and Yeaterman versus Bronson and Breaker. So what you did, you want the amplified truth. That's what you come here for, right? I'll get to the full review. We're going to break down all of these segments and matches. This is still, believe it or not, your cold open monologue. But if you want the amplified truth, which is what you came here for, you know what they brought Roman back for? Even if it's subconsciously, even if it wasn't their intent or they didn't think about it, they should have thought about it. Because Roman came back to be in the mid-card. What? Did I just drop some amplified honesty? Was that a rough one to take? Roman Reigns came back for the mid-card. Bronson Reed isn't a main eventer yet. You stuck him with Paul Heyman and he carries around Sethington Rollins' briefcase. That's not his. He still has a long way to go in the mid-card. They tried this with Solo. He was the side act, and then they tried to make him a main eventer out of nowhere. That didn't work, fell flat, so then he went right back, and now he's the mid-card champion, as he should be. And he's in mid-card storylines, and he's running a little faction, but mid-card. Good. Very good. Jacob Fatu, mid-card. They're building him. He'll be there in the main event. Bronson Reed, I believe he'll be there in the main event. And by the way, by main event, I just don't mean them placing him there, feeling like he's main event. But it's a while. I think most of us don't mind Bronson Reed or even like Bronson Reed. I'm not a huge fan of Bronson Reed. I've said that a billion times. I'll probably say it a billion more, but I'm hoping I get there. But I understand the substance and the talent. But right now, Bronson Reed is a mid-card. What do you want me to say? You want me to put him up there with the Jonathan Cenas? You want me to put him up there with the Roman Reigns just because he's in a story with him? I can't do that right now. The Randy Ortons, he still has a lot. I mean, he came back from an injury, muddled around a little bit, did the Wreck-It Ralph thing with Braun Strowman, went back to catering for a little bit, tied up with Paul Heyman, carries around Seth Rollins' bags and briefcases, and voila, he's in a tag team match with Roman Reigns. No, Bronson Reed's a mid-carder. Braun Breaker, they're priming him for that main event status, no doubt. Not there yet. He'll get there, I believe. They're priming him for that spot, but there's a reason Breaker and Bronson are behind Seth right now. And then there's Yeeterman. No matter how many championships they throw on Yeeterman, no matter how many parents who are dragging their kids out to dance and yeet and throw an absolute Chuck E. Cheese party at every event, yeet their asses off. With Jason Yeeterman, no matter how much of a dance party they try to provide in those arenas, right? The numbers are showing you that at home, the adults, we're not looking at this dude as a main eventer. We're not. There's a difference between calling yourself main event and actually being main event, feeling like a main event. Jey Uso, one of the top 5 easily, maybe even top 3, no question, not a maybe, top 3, maybe vying for top 1. I'd have to give it more thought. But one of the most stale acts in pro wrestling right now. One of those acts that when I see them, from the music to the time they're back through the curtain and the segment is over, the match is over. One of the most tired out, played out, exhausting acts is Jason Uso. Jey Yeeterman, from the damn music and 20 minutes of yeeting to the same old, tired 3 to 5 moves of doom. The super kick, 85 spears, which he jacked from Roman Reigns. Now he's doing the choke, which he jacked from Gunther. And what else? I think he jacked something. He used to go over the top rope, but he can't do that anymore, so now he goes through the rope, thankfully. And maybe there's one more move, and you just put that on repeat. That's Jey Uso. That's a Jey Uso match, man. And then Roman Reigns come after 4 months. April, we last saw this dude, correct? WrestleMania or around there, and then May, June, and now end of July. This dude is back for what? Now you could say, well, BC was supposed to be Seth versus Roman. Okay, for the 95th time, no thank you. How many times do you need to see that? Every couple years you need to go back to it, like Rusev and Sheamus? No, that's not SummerSlam worthy for BC, man. If Roman's out for 4 months, when he comes back, I'm having a massive Roman match. A first time ever. And if you're going to have him go into the mid-card, it's Breaker versus Roman or bust. But a tag team match with Bronson Reed and Jason Yeeterman, it's a throwaway. If you told me that was a Monday Night Raw match, I'm not even joking. Guys, these are not just words, man. I'm not just saying this just to hear myself speak. I mean this wholeheartedly. If you told me Bronson and Braun were taking on Yeeterman and Roman on Raw, I wouldn't bat an eyelash. I wouldn't ask twice. I'd be like, yeah, sounds about right. Can't say I'm interested. Can't say I'm interested at all. It's a tag team match with with those. What? Why would I care about it? I wouldn't care about it. It's a stupid tag match for a lot of us. And that's if it was on Raw. If it was on a house show and you were paying $50 to $100 to show up to your local arena to see that match, I still wouldn't care about it. But to put it at SummerSlam? No. It's Breaker versus Roman or bust if you're going to put him into a mid-card type match. Because that's what you brought Roman back for. It was either going to be a Rollins one-on-one match, which, by the way, I'm hearing that's debunked. But whether that was going to be the case or not, that's not the best creative you could do. It's not. Guy's been out for this long, and this is what he's coming back to. A tag team match in the middle of summer. What are you going to put that? Watch them put that as one of the main events, because it's 2 nights now of SummerSlam. They did that at Mania. They put that weird triple threat with Rollins, Punk, and Roman, even though there was nothing on the line. Guys, there was not a future title shot. There was not a world title on the line. There was no reason Paul Heyman on a pole match. They just had these 3 dudes randomly start a feud and then said, hey, you're the Mania main event, because they couldn't put Jay and Gunther because Jay is not main event worthy. Sadly, the H found that out. Helmsley knew. He was getting pressured by Nick Khan and everybody. They were like, dude, you can't put Jay Uso in the last match. I don't care if everyone's going to yeet for 5 or 55 minutes. All right, BC, thanks for the review, man. That was awesome. That was so amplified. Catch you next time. But nah, that was not the review. That's just my cold open monologue, my opening teaser, man. The review's coming up. I just had a lot to say. On this show, man, and I try not to yell, scream, and shout, right? Just have a real conversation on this, man, a real discussion, so that when people try to tell you that this is a good show, literally, you can't even argue with them. You can't debate with them. You should not. You just get stepping. You move on, because it ain't worth it, because they're trying to tell themselves that this is a good show at this point. That's what it's come to, guys. Most individuals know this is if they're not kid, right? It's either kids saying it's a good show, and if it's an adult, it's because they've tapped out. They know this is not the best we should be getting right now. They know that this is nowhere near the best that this company can produce. But they want it to be good so bad, because they want to speak positive. They're so tired of just talking about how bad the shows are. So they just tapped out, and they're like, you know what? BC's right, but what can we do? You know, it's WWE today, you know, so let's just take whatever Helmsley is serving up, come back with our wooden bowl and wooden spoon and go, please, sir, can I have some more? No, I can't do that, man. I know it is tiresome to talk about how bad these shows are nonstop, because we really do love this shit. We want to see it get better, but we can't have it get better if we're not being honest. While everyone else is tapping out, I assure you, BC in the unit will not be. I told you that was going to be amplified sized. All right, before we get going, we got one more time, man. You guys you got to put them up. All right, even if you haven't hit the gym yet today. I don't care if you haven't hit the gym all week. Maybe you don't even go to the gym. Switch that up. If you're able to, switch that up. But no matter what you're working with, get them up. Ready? 3 seconds. I want everybody getting them up, man. Power it up. Let's get amplified. Ready? 3, 2, 1. Yeah. Get you going, right? Gets the coffee ain't doing it, man. When you get amplified. Yeah, man. Gets everything flowing. You get ready for it, man. Even if we got to go over a bad show like 7/21/25's Raw. Opening segment, lazy, uneventful. What else can I say, man? I literally had to put that in the notes. The opening words to this review. You know it's not going to be a good show review when the opening words are lazy, uneventful opening. CM Punk comes out, says some words. Gunther then comes out. Crowd chants, you tapped out 3 separate times over 5 minutes. It's the only thing Houston had. You tapped out, and then they just kept recycling it. At least they were making noise. That wasn't the case through the first 2 hours of this show. And they didn't have any reason to. Again, I ain't even blaming them. Now, this is what I mean, man. Now, Gunther comes out, as I said, he says some words, and then he just leaves. Now, that's all I gave you in the cold open teaser. Now I want to tell you what was actually fucking said. This is no joke. You can go back and listen. Punk, when he was out there by himself, just looked into the camera and said, anybody showing up to Jersey, New York, New Jersey for MetLife, just know I'm going to give it everything I have and leave it all in that ring. Nice. Okay, I hope so. That's when Gunther came down. And Gunther just goes on a 5-minute spiel, and it only took 5 minutes because the crowd kept chanting, "You tapped out." Okay? Gunther just said you and me are a lot alike, Punk, because you have an ego, I have an ego. You think you're the best in the world, I think I'm the best in the world. But at SummerSlam, we're going to find out who is the best in the world. And he walks away. I'm thinking, nah, they got something planned, man. Punk's going to say something. He's going to come back, and I don't want to see him brawl because that's so boring. I don't know. I was just hoping for something creative. I didn't even need them to be in the ring face to face for a promo. I just needed them to be creative. And instead, they just had him in the ring for a face to face promo. And they just said that. I wish I could. BC, you got to be forgetting some stuff. No, those were the biggest talking points. Punk says, "I'm going to leave it all in the ring." Gunther comes out and says, "You have an ego, I have an ego. You think you're the best, I think I'm the best. At SummerSlam, we'll find out who's the best." And he walks away. And Punk just lets him walk away. And we go to the broadcast table. And Michael Cole's like, "Wow, what a way to start Raw. We got a big show today." I'm like, what a way to start. What just happened? That's how you just used CM Punk? And that's your build to Punk and Gunther, which was just announced basically a week ago? Yeah, what? Not basically. The gauntlet was just a week ago. SummerSlam is next Saturday. So they didn't even try. They were like, it's so close. Let's just have them go out there, and the story is going to be who's the best in the world. I don't know, man. I got to get more coffee. Yeah, just thinking about these shows, man, the next morning, a lot of you guys are always like, "BC, man, it's not good. It's not healthy to drink all that coffee every day, BC. I know you're amplified, but I'm telling you right now, reviewing these shows, talking WWE will give me a headache. It's way more unhealthy than any amount of coffee could ever be." Riveting opening to this show. First matchup of the night. Rusev. Sheamus defeats Rusev via bro kick pinfall. They gave him nearly 20 minutes. The crowd couldn't care less. The last 5 minutes, it picked up a little bit. All right. Yeah, for the crowd. And they tried to really... The whole match, they were trying everything to get the crowd into it. There's just one big issue. And I don't blame the crowd, as I said a million times already. Nobody cares about this. Maybe it had potential. When Rusev and Sheamus first started like bowing up to one another, I'm like, all right, if they do X, Y, and Z and take it out to the parking lot here and maybe put the story over here, maybe we can rekindle this and it could be cool. They didn't. They run into each other backstage once in a while and then they just have a bunch of matches. They've already had a couple already. Bare minimum. So I doubt that's it. You're going to see another one between these two. This is just what you're going to get. They tried everything, man. Sheamus is jumping off the top turnbuckle onto the outside. Sheamus is getting dropped on his dome piece over the commentary table. It's the hardest I think Rusev has worked in a match in 5 years. AEW, did he even have a match? Slight exaggeration, a little bit of comedy. Nobody, you blink, you missed Miro's AEW run. They tried. It's just when people don't give a shit, doesn't matter what you do. That's it. There's nothing else to say. Sheamus beats Rusev via bro kick. Then there was a triple threat tag team match. When I say for no reason, Michael Cole literally says, this will determine a future tag title match. Not next week. He doesn't say anything about next week. Could be, right? Because everything's day to day, moment by moment. But he doesn't say it's next week because they don't know. Doesn't say it's at SummerSlam. They don't know. Doesn't say it's at Clash in Paris. It's like they threw this on their last second, you know, because it was just a random triple threat tag team schmaz match. And Michael Cole's like, Helmsley at the last second was probably like, we should probably have something on the line, right? Why is 3 teams facing each other? Well, no, that's what Helmsley books all the time. At Mania, it was one of your main events with Punk, Roman, and Rollins. Nothing on the line, no reason. Roman and Punk just started a feud a few weeks earlier because Roman said he threw him out of the Royal Rumble. How dare you do what you're supposed to do at the Rumble? Now we need a Mania match. Triple threat tag, and I'm pretty sure this was a last second thing. I mean, Michael Cole didn't even sound confident in what he was saying. He's like, and this is for a future tag title shot. You give them away like Halloween candy every show anyway. Of course it's for a few. Every team's going to get a shot at it. 100 times over. It doesn't even matter if you don't win these type of matches, because next week they're going to have another multi-person schmaz, or another number one contenders, or another future title shot matchup. These are so ridiculous. When it was all said and done, LWO defeats New Day in the Creeds. LWO defeats New Day in Creeds. Are you excited? It's all right. You can say, yeah, Beasley, man, I love you, Beasley, but I'm excited about this, man. LWO, they deserve it, Beasley. They've been busting their ass, man. Because that's the new criteria with a lot of pro wrestling fans today. As long as you deserve it, we need to see you in top spots, getting championships, so we can feel good about the moment. Doesn't matter that LWO has been booked like a bunch of fucking, as if they were the Brooklyn Brawler and Barry Horowitz. If you don't know, you should know. The jobbers of all jobbers. I'd rather see them back than many pro wrestlers today, to be honest with you, because a lot of pro wrestlers today don't do anything. They step through the curtain. I couldn't care less. I'd rather see Barry Horowitz and the Brooklyn Brawler. But the LWO is booked like a couple of jabronis. They're booked like dorks, so they're perceived as such. So when they win a match like this, the only people truly excited are the ones that are like, they deserve it. Finally, the LWO. LWO versus JD McDonald's and Finn Balor. Oh, man, I cannot wait, man. The excitement, man, to be a pro wrestling fan in 2025. Can you believe when Judgment Day takes on LWO? Man, WWE, man. Hunter Hearst Helmsley, he's what the kids call cooking. He's cooking up some bangles. Michael Cole. Well, this match is for a future title shot. When we think of it, we'll tell you. But in the meantime, we're just throwing a bunch of dudes out there to do some flips and dives. Hopefully the crowd will say, this is awesome. And hopefully nobody understands that we don't know what we're doing behind the scenes. But watch our show Unreal. We're going to pretend that we are. We're going to put on a whole facade. And then we went into hour 2. Becky Lynch. Did you see what Becky Lynch was wearing? Second week in a row. You guys told me. I totally missed the outfit last week. It didn't resonate. But you guys told me she was wearing a red and yellow. And she was again today. Last night. Full red, yellow wristbands. If you guys don't know, that's some, if not homage, at least reference to Hulkamania, Hulk Hogan. Because a lot of people are calling Becky Lynch Becky Hogan because she beats everyone, holds everybody down. She's always getting rocket booking. What's hilarious, though, is I don't really hear Charlotte Hogan often. Or Hulk Flair. Flair Hogan? You know, you should hear that more with her. I do hear some Ria Hogan, and that's Ria. Ria's another one. Becky Hogan, though. Becky Hogan always... It's interesting because I feel her heel work is actually good when the creative is good. She can rock it. And when it's not, like last night, it falls on its face and everybody is like, man, Becky isn't doing it. She's just not doing it for me. And I understand that. When the creative is good, Becky is good, man. I mean, it's what I do. I critique this shit. And even when people are like, I didn't like it, I'm usually going, it's still a good segment. Because it's not about what we like and don't like. I hear you. Maybe even I don't like some segments that Becky is in. But it doesn't mean it wasn't good. Like it was effective or it did something. Last night wasn't one of those nights. But Becky Hogan is, I just feel they're individuals like Rhea Ripley and Charlotte Flair that we should be using that for if we're going to. Becky Hogan, it's a stretch. It's a stretch. I don't feel Becky Lynch gets booking like Rhea Ripley and Charlotte Flair. I don't. I understand she beats people more often. She gets titles. I get it. I don't feel it's the same booking. I don't. So I love the fact that she plays into the Hulk Hogan thing. You want to call me Becky Hogan? I'm going to come to... I wish she came down with Hulk Hogan's music, bro. I would play the fuck into this. Hit that Hulkamania Real American theme. I love it. In her promo, the one good thing she did say, I don't know if she put this in there or Creative put this in for her, the writer, but she said, I did what I do best at Evolution. I won the match. I walked out with the championship. I held everybody down, she said. And that's one of the complaints from a lot of it. You hold everyone down. I love how she actually said, I hold everybody down. Good stuff, man. I just wish the segment was. Becky Lynch starts hour 2 in the red and yellow, and that's where the good stuff kind of fell off. Lyra Valkyria comes out next, and then the SummerSlam match between the two, which is a rematch of a rematch of a rematch, by the way, it becomes a no count out, no DQ match. And then Becky asks for a handshake, but receives a manhandle slam instead. That's a segment. There's nothing. BC. Well, what happened after that? Nothing. That's it. Another face-to-face promo. They've had about 12 already. This is real talk. They've had about 12 of these because they've been feuding for months. And I wish I could say, but this is long-term storytelling, man. We love this. BC, you always say you love multi-month feuds and long-term booking and storytelling. I do. So where is it? I'm not getting a story. I'm just seeing them either talk a lot, brawl, or wrestle. There's no story. There's not a story arc. What you saw on Friday night, that's a story. That's how you set up a cage match, for instance, right? Fatu and Solo are in the cage because Solo just tried to get Solo into that cage, into a jail cell. And then it was Solo that went to the cell. So Adam Pearce, who was filling in for Nick Aldis on Friday, was like, fine, now, if this is what we're doing, cage match. Makes sense. Because you told a story properly. And in one night, they extended a proper story. What they are doing with Dominic Mysterio last night, I didn't even put it in the notes because it was a lot of backstage stuff. But with AJ Styles as a custodian, or AJ Styles is the janitor. Wait, that is custodian, right? Well, he was like the doctor last night. We'll get to that soon. AJ Styles was like doing all these things around Adam Pearce and Dominic Mysterio to see if Mysterio was cleared or not. So AJ Styles wants to make sure that he's around when he hears the words. Even something as little as that, that's a story, right? You can kind of remember the arc when you finally get to the match at SummerSlam. So that's what I mean. It's simplistic sometimes, but just tell a story. You have to get creative, think outside the box, and do something that is memorable. Nobody's going to remember anything that's happening with Lyra and Becky because they're not doing anything memorable. So again, after months, they're just face-to-face saying words to one another. And Becky goes to shake the hand, and Lyra goes, but then Becky's like, psych, and she goes to throw a punch, and she gets manhandle slammed, and that's the segment, guys. So think about that. 12 promos together, several matches. We've actually seen them wrestle/fight already. We've seen them brawl, fight, wrestle. We've seen winners and losers between these two. And last night, you had a manhandle slam. Stories. Wrestling segment. They're always supposed to progress, right? Get better. Get bigger, because the build has to get stronger. Only in WWE can you see things regress. Only in WWE can you go from the actual matches to the brawl to the promo and then just repeat the process. That's why BC is the best at what I do, man, because I break this shit down even when people don't want to hear it, man. If you truly say you love this shit, then you're going to have to hear this shit. This is real talk, no sugarcoat, no bullshit. I'm giving you guys these are the true tricks, not the ones that Helmsley's going to expose on the show Unreal. No, these are the tricks to make a show really good. And I'm giving them away on this channel for free. Becky Lynch gets manhandle slammed. Riveting stuff. Then Lyra and Bayley, that's right, Lyra and Bayley have a tag team title match with Raquel and Roxy. BC, how the did Bayley and Lyra get a tag title match? They're not even a tag team. I know. They tried to say throughout the match 100 times, but this makes no sense. What is Bayley doing? Why aren't they asking, how did they even get a tag title match out of thin air? Bayley just like Charlie did on Friday, asked for a title match, and I said it in the cold open, just like Home Alone. Remember when the dude asks Macaulay for the credit card because he's trying to like book a hotel, I believe it is. I think it's that scene. And so he's got the tape recorder. He's like, credit card? You got it. Title match? Can I have a title match? You got it. Can I have a title match? You got it. You got it. You got it, man. Expecto Patronum. Everybody just make a wish, right? Cross the hands, blink 3 times, make a wish, man. You don't need the genie bottle. Just ask for a title match and you get it, man. It's Oprah. You get a car. You get a car. You get a title match. You get a title match. Bayley just gets a title match because she asked. And this weird tag team that's not even a tag team, Bayley and Lyra get a tag title match. Charlie and Alexa are not a tag team. They've had a couple of matches together. Charlie goes over to Aldis or Pierce, one of the two, and says, can I get a title match? They're like, sure. SummerSlam even. So I've been absolutely ripping apart the fact that in WWE these days you just have a match to get to a match. There's no stories. It's just match to get to match. Fatal 4-way, winner gets this title match. Triple threat, winner gets the gauntlet match. Battle Royal, whatever, right? Schmaz match to get to a championship match. That's how we get number one contenders because we don't want to properly tell stories, nor do we have time. Evolution, Saturday Night's Main Event, Night of Champions, Money in the Bank, SummerSlam, Clash in Paris. That's all within 3 months. All within 3 months. There's no time, they're thinking, to build stories, and they don't want to spend a damn moment to try to get creative, to try to care or show they care. So they just do matches to get to matches. Now, they've gotten somehow even lazier. Now they're just like, let's just say you asked for a title match and we just gave it to you. Anyway, Bayley got no response in this when she came out, and that's sad to say, because even if you're not a fan of Bayley, I think most of us can agree, we like Bayley, right? We think of cute, cuddly, huggable, right? What was those? The Bayley buddies? We think of that Bayley still, right? That's Bayley. So to see her get zero response, and again, this crowd was put to sleep by the lackluster booking of Hunter Hearst Helmsley last night. So I don't blame the crowd for being asleep. Again, the NyQuil that they were handing out because they knew it was going to be a boring-ass show. So they were trying to help everybody, get into your Snuggies, get your cocoa, and Helmsley will do the rest, put you to sleep. But it was sad to see Bayley, literally get no response. There was a moment, if you guys didn't check out the show, if you do, man, she's up on the turnbuckle and she's trying to get the crowd going, and she literally asked, come on, nothing? She was literally asking the crowd, come on, what are you, nothing? What is going on here? And then she asked if anyone wanted a shirt. She had a shirt, because that usually hypes up a crowd. So she was going to throw a shirt out, and the crowd literally made no noise at all. Nobody cared. So she's like, nah, forget it. That was on camera. It was actually caught on camera. And then you get to the match. This thing was sloppy. It was bad. Lyra didn't want to cover anyone. There were several times in this match where obviously it was either a timing botch or, timing, I guess, because she was waiting for someone to break the count up, but they weren't in place, so she couldn't actually do the count. But there were several times where Lyra would do a move, even her finisher once, I believe. Something like that. And she was just hovering over Roxanne. Just hovering over. I'm like, lay on her. The ref is right there. What are you doing? And then she would have to wait for Raquel to get in place, and then she'd cover her. It was sloppy, man. There was a moment where Raquel went to kick one of them, Lyra, somebody, Bayley, maybe. They ducked. Raquel was supposed to kick Dominic on the outside. She totally whiffed. Dominic was too far, and Raquel did not thrust that kick at all. It was so bad. So she grazed a little bit of like the bottom of Dominic's chest, maybe. Just grazed it with like the tip of her, maybe her toes, maybe. And Dominic had to sell it like he was knocked out because there was an angle here where AJ Styles was going to act like the doctor. Styles comes out and he starts trying to like resuscitate him, right? Trying to do some CPR or something. So Dominic had to sell this no matter what, even though he wasn't actually kicked. It was so bad, guys, so bad. Becky Lynch then comes back out, takes out Lyra, and then Raquel finally pins Bayley off the Tejana bomb. If you didn't watch this and you're hearing how ridiculous this is, you're probably thinking, damn, BC, how do you watch this shit? To which I would say, amplified unit member, I don't fucking have a clue. I do it for you guys at this point. I gotta believe, like, we created something special on this channel. I gotta believe that that's what just keeps us going, man. Because I say it all the time, and I mean it. You could literally spend your Monday night in a much better way. You could pick up a bad habit. You could throw yourself in traffic. It would probably be much better than this. Karrion Kross defeats Samuel Zayn. Scarlett Bordeaux was incredible in this match. She was the star. This is what should have happened at Night of Champions, and for some reason, they didn't have Sammy just pass out. Sammy could have just passed out from Karrion. It was the perfect setup. Karrion was talking that shit. Cole was saying 1,000 times in that match at Night of Champions that Karrion needs to win, has to win. We all knew that. For some reason, they had Sami Zayn hulk up, get out of the choke, and hit one haluva kick, and Karrion was looking at the lights. I was like, what? So here we are a little over a month later. They run it back, and Karrion wins this match. The way this is how it should have been. If Sammy wasn't going to pass out at Night of Champions, at least do this finish at Night of Champions. There was no reason for Samuel Zayn to win that match. Karrion Kross is kind of down and out in the corner, and Scarlett hands him a big pipe. And then Scarlett runs to the other side, trips up Sammy just to get the ref's attention. So the ref is about to kick Scarlett out. While he's attending to Scarlett, Karrion now has the pipe, puts it right into the midsection of Samuel Zayn. Moments later, 1, 2, 3, Sami Zayn's looking up at the lights if he's conscious at all. Karrion Kross picks up the W, Scarlett Bordeaux. That's what a manager should do. She literally... That's the personification of what a manager used to be, what they used to do, how effective they were, what they did for the heel that they were with. That's what you do. Look at everything she did. Hand the pipe, go around, cause the distraction. She's got the look up. She's Karrion and Scarlett. That's the duo. All you got to do is don't screw it up. You give them bare minimum booking and they'll take it through the stratosphere. It was so good to see him on TV collecting a W. And listen, it's over Sam Zayn. No harm, no foul. Sam Zayn has not done anything meaningful in the longest of times. Sam Zayn's music hits. He comes through the curtain. I know it's a coffee break. And then we got Io Sky versus Steph V. The reason we're getting this for the second time in just a few months when they're both faces is because Michael Cole and Corey Graves are trying to tell us we have to find a winner. That's why, man. We didn't get an exact winner last time. Now, all of this is to finally get the winner. Like, all right, if that's what you want to do, you're splitting your audience anyway. By even having them wrestle, you're splitting your audience. Go back to the beginning of this match. Let's go, Io. Let's go, Steph. Let's go, Io. Why would you do that? There's no reason. Io has a lot of momentum. Let the fans rock with her. Steph V has a lot of momentum. Let the fans rock. By splitting them, you're doing them a detriment, not a service. It's a disservice. But that's what Helmsley likes to do. Ruin individuals. When they start getting really hot, he likes to put the lid on it, shut the oven, then pour cold water on it. Top comes off, cold water. Put it back on, shut the oven. All of it. Anything to dilute that boiling water. So the whole thing, 100 times during this match, we're finally going to see who the real winner is. No, we didn't. When it was all said and done, Chelsea Green and the Secret Hervis jump in the ring. The match is, I don't know, thrown out. Was somebody hit first? Maybe it was a DQ. I have no idea. Naomi then comes out. Naomi starts muffing up, both faces. And then Rhea Ripley. Here comes Rhea Ripley. Listen to the ovation. It's hilarious, guys. It really is. You can hear the pitch. Ah! It's like kids, women especially, but there's dudes that really love, I think they, maybe the look of Rhea Ripley, that like goth type look. Maybe a lot of dudes are into that. I don't know, but dudes like her too. But it's hilarious to hear the pitch go so high. Kids and females, they really are digging Rhea Ripley. So I always said I'm not a big Rhea Ripley fan per se. I'm just not. Like if I'm running a company, Rhea Ripley is not in my top 5 females easily. Nowhere near. I don't even know if she'd be top 10. I'd have Ivy, Nile, and others. I just would. But I always said it's really cool that they give her a piece of the rocket, sometimes too much of that rocket. And good for her for getting positions, you know what I mean? I mean, there's a presence for sure. And she puts on some, her and Charlotte's matchup, was that this year or last year, I believe? WrestleMania. Yeah, because this year was Tiffany. That one was good. Rhea and Io, was that from last week? Or was that Evolution? Which I'm getting them all fucking mixed up. There's too many. But that was decent. So she could put on good matches. So it's not like just because I'm not a fan of somebody doesn't mean I don't see the value in them. I say it all the time. I'm actually a Jinder Mahal fan, but I understand that there's not a lot of value with putting a title on him or even having him on Raw and SmackDown. Too many fans just weren't having it. So that's how honest I am. Even if I'm a fan of somebody, if there's not a substance or a value behind it, I totally get it. With Rhea, I'm not a fan, but I totally see the value she brings, man. I mean, there's a lot of fans that they're all about Rhea. But I also will say, just like Yeaterman, right? You hear a lot of noise for Yeaterman, but it doesn't translate into the ratings. It doesn't translate to the masses, and it doesn't mean they should be booked to the moon. Same thing with Ripley. No matter about the loud pitch that you hear and the fans wanting to see Rhea, what happened at Mania? Backlash. People didn't want to see Rhea in that position. They were like, hey, we like Rhea, but get out, dude. What are you doing? You don't belong in Io's match. Io, Belair. I mean, you didn't win the Rumble. You didn't win the Elimination Chamber. You just cried and got a triple threat match. So there was no way Rhea could get that title. And even in there recently, man, every time Rhea's going for a title, you start to hear the crowd go, they start to turn a little bit on Rhea. It's not because they don't like Rhea. It's because they're like, dude, you should not be getting a title right now. You don't need to be in the title picture. Somebody like Rhea Ripley, just give her good booking. It's like The Undertaker. A lot of younger fans don't realize. For the first decade up front, Undertaker didn't have anything to do with the title. There was one thing around 89, 90, something like that. Not long after he debuted. Maybe 91, 92. It was called Tuesday Night in Texas. He won the title from Hogan, and then at Survivor Series, it flip-flopped. He held it for like a week or two. Aside from that little weird thing that Vince McMahon did with Hulk Hogan, Undertaker really didn't have anything to do with the title. Every WrestleMania that went by, he was WrestleMania 7, it was Jake Roberts, or was that Jimmy Snuka? Maybe that was Jimmy Snuka. WrestleMania 8 was Jake Roberts, I believe. WrestleMania 9, Giant Gonzalez. Then you went into the King Kong Bundys and it wasn't until WrestleMania 13, I believe it was, where he beat Sid Justice for the championship. And that's only because they were running out of stars. WCW was really coming into their own, and so they're like, all right, Taker, you got to get the title. And then the American Badass won a few more titles. But somebody like The Undertaker, you don't have to. He doesn't need to be in the title picture. You just give him good booking, and he's going to be a superstar in his own stratosphere. Somebody like Rhea Ripley doesn't need it. And if people keep telling you, we don't want to see her in the title picture, but they like her, then why ruin a good thing? Book Rhea properly, keep giving her the piece of the rocket, but don't put her in the title picture. That's a side rant. But I had to say, man, it was one of the loudest times that Houston got last night. This is my brutality. Rhea! She got her shopping done at Spencer's and the Hot Topic. She left that mall. She said, my dad, you ain't got to pick me up from the mall. I'm going to Raw to save Io and Steph V. Anyway, the point in all this, nobody won. That was the whole point of all this. Oh, we're finally going to get a winner. No, we didn't. When it was all said and done, Rhea Ripley is the savior, and everyone's praising Rhea Ripley. Thanks for saving us. Io and Steph V need to be saved. And that was the show until we got to Roman, the main event segment. Now we're into the third hour, the final segment of the night, Roman Reigns. This is what they're holding their head on. They're going to put the hat on the whole fact that Roman is there, and that's why everyone's going to call this a great show, because that was your show. Could Roman save it? No, not even Roman could save it. This is what happened. So Roman Reigns is out there. First of all, Paul Heyman, Braun Breaker, Bronson Reed, still with no name. I just call them the dumbasses. I started calling them that last week, and it was really cool. Roman Reigns, big fan of the channel, by the way. Thank you. Salute. Shout out to Roman and the fam. But Roman Reigns likes what we call them, the dumbasses. So he just referred to Paul Heyman last night as dumbass about 5 times. The leader of the dumbasses. He's not the Oracle. I didn't hear them call him Oral B one time last night. Just dumbass. You don't have a name. So PC labeled you the dumbasses. Roman liked it. Shout out. Probably one of the kids told Roman, Well, what about what PC calls him? Roman probably liked it. It's not the first time. But Roman comes out and he literally looks at Heyman. He says, "This is, you had a hand in the bloodline. You were not fam though. The Usos played a bigger part. Sami Zayn played a bigger part. You were the wise man, but look at you. You ain't the wise man anymore. You're just a dumbass. Dumbass. It's clicking. It worked." I thought of that on a whim last week because that's what they look like. You have a name. You don't have a name. You don't have you have nothing. You look weird together. The chemistry isn't there right now. I don't know if it's going to be. This is dumbass. Breaker then steps up, has some words with Roman. This was decent. If you're going to have Roman come back after 4 months for a mid-card match, at least have it with Braun Breaker. That's a match. But instead, Bronson Reed then jumps in and they attack. And then Jason Yeaterman comes out and the faces fend off the heels and the show goes off there with everybody yeeting. And that's your SummerSlam match, more than likely. By now, it's probably already announced, but I doubt they're going to do Breaker and Roman. It looks like they're going tagged. I wish they would rethink this, reconsider. As of this recording, the match isn't made official. Maybe they can still try to... Because that's the only money match for Roman, man. You've been gone for 4 months. Breaker, Roman, a tag team match. Even if you want to say, well, the original match was Seth and Roman. Okay, well, I already saw that 94 times. I don't need to see it a 95th in the year of 2025. With both dudes losing a step, because that's what happened. So they're not even prime of their prime anymore. No, I don't need to see that. But even if that was supposed to be the match, okay, that doesn't mean you go so low into a tag team match like this just to find something for Yeaterman and Bronson to do. It's 2 nights. Give them a singles match. But I find it hard to believe that this is what's happening with Roman after 4 months in his hiatus. He's coming back for a stupid tag team match and I know a lot of you guys couldn't give 2 fucks about. Bronson and Braun Breaker versus Yeaterman and Roman. It's not fun. It's nothing I would need to see at the local bingo hall. If you told me those 4 dudes were making a surprise appearance at the bingo hall, I wouldn't have to rush out to see that tag match. Let alone going all the way to MetLife. And that's one of the matches I'm going, oh, wow. I'm going to see this amazing tag match. Knowing WWE, they'll throw this in a main event. They'll say this is main event worthy because main event Jay's in it. That's what I got for you guys, man. Raw 7/21/25. I'll end this review the same question I started with, right? Roman and what else? That's the question from last night's Raw. Not SmackDown or anything else. That's its own set of issues. For Monday Night Raw last night, and this is including CM Punk, who I always say gives a pulse to this show, but last night he did not, and that's because the booking failed him. So I asked Roman and what else last night? If you didn't have Roman, and not even Roman could save this show, but if you didn't have Roman last night, could you imagine what would there even be to talk about? Bayley's out of nowhere tag team title match? The triple threat men's tag match for a future title shot. Right, Michael Cole? Rusev and Sheamus for the 16th time? Io and Steph V, and we're going to get a winner this time, except no, we're not. Just kidding. And Becky and Lyra saying more words to one another. And Gunther and CM Punk said some words together. Gunther said, "You think you're the best. I think I'm the best. At SummerSlam, we'll find out who's the best." Okay, bye. That's all the creative had for me. I'm going to leave the ring now. And CM Punk's is like, yeah, maybe we should have rethought this. I just ran down the entire show again in the last 60 seconds. But I know. It was a good show last night. I better say it was a good show. No, it wasn't. It wasn't a good show. In fact, it's a bad show. And Houston told you that. Until next time, and there will be that next time. Top guys, we are out. 44, that's a wrap. BC of the unit will say, check you. We're going to throw them up one more time. You guys ready? Until next time, salute, unit. Put them up.